Hey everybody. Probably the last recording session here for Planetbase. Welcome on back. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you. Just retrofitting. That's all that I've really decided to do in the last couple episodes. And actually, I've come up with kind of like a template for the way I want things to be loaded out when I come into these little areas. Do something like that right there. It all looks nice and symmetrical. Make me feel a little bit better and a little bit less OCD about the way things are placed out. Seems to work pretty well, and then maybe we'll just go vid screens around the outside. That should allow us to renovate this pretty quickly, which means that I'm actually going to duck back on this side, destroy these, and from here I'll probably take a bunch of cabins that stick out off this thing to help out with people's happiness, because right now everybody's been using communal bedding, which has made them very, very unhappy, but it became apparent to me that the base was no longer going to function in its current layout. It needed to be like fixed in one way or another, and it wasn't going to make it. We have a lot of metal laying around. That's a weird amount of metal that I have. What's on this trade ship right here? Of course it's a robot trader with a low commission too. That'll get me to there. Maybe just take the holler bots for right now. But yeah, welcome on back. Holla! They're the holler bots. They like to holler at you. I don't know. I don't make the rules. It just works the way that it does. I'm not that guy. Don't ask me. I don't make these executive decisions. I don't know anything about anything. It just kind of happens that way, and then I adapt around it. This should help out a little bit with some of the problems we've been having. It might be nice to put a multi-dome off the side of this damn thing, but there's a multi-dome right there. I don't know really why they make the choices they make sometimes. Sometimes they make choices that I'm not really on board with, and I'm just like, what is this? Why, you just walked past a room that was full of food and then died of starvation in the room right after it. I don't know. I think sometimes the little priorities get a little bit twisted on the characters. That should be enough to keep most of the people fed here, I think. That one appears to be working overtime, which is good. It's actually doing what I expect it to do. I think it's got the same... You know how I always point this out in every indie game? It's the problem here is the programming. So I think it needs an empty space before it will start to create the next meat. And so it needs to have an imaginary space right here that actually isn't occupied by anything unless it's part of the creation process. I think that's what it is. Then again, we've seen ones that are empty not creating either, so I don't know. It might just all be weirdness and voodoo and shenanigans. I couldn't honestly tell you. Lots of stuff to work on here today. Lots of things to get done. And so welcome on back to Planetbase. Let's get started, shall we? Let's get started. Now, destroying this right here might not be the wisest idea. In fact, it might be worth it to connect those two right there, hoping a robot doesn't get stuck along the way. But what might really work on this side is the creation of a couple of cabins, the big kinds. If I could do a little one over here, that'd work too. So we'll go little cabin right there. We will go largest cabin that we can muster on this side. Unless it does not like that for some reason. It might not like those little hills right there. Not totally sure. These little lumpy things right here, it may not like those. And so we'll go... Maybe I should have just gone big cabin right here. Let me see what I can do with big cabin. Big cabin might work a little bit better. So let's assume that I go big cabin right there, and I feel like that was a cheesy placement. I feel like I cheated the system right there a little bit. I clicked fast enough, though. I clicked fast enough, system. You can't stop me if I click fast enough. And then we'll go big cabin right there. And then I've got a sneaking suspicion I might be able to fit a better cabin over here, too. But we'll play around with it in just a minute. The cabins are going to help out with happiness a tiny bit, as well as working with their sleep. I've destroyed a lot of cabins trying to make space for other things. The problem is that I built my base in a way where I was just squeezing cabins in all over the place. And when I had to deconstruct everything, the happiness that my people had grown to rely on sort of fell off for a little while because I had to destroy their personal bedding and all that kind of stuff. We have more than enough eating spaces right now, so I think we should be good from here on in. Starch is actually falling off at a pretty alarming rate. As is food, actually. Got rice pads, we got pea pods, those are working, okay. Actually, this one's producing quite a bit of starch. Huh. Well. I think we should keep an eye long term. Let me take a look at my graphs here. So with food and meat, we want to keep an eye on this. We want to make sure it stays stable and that this doesn't start to tilt. If it starts to tilt, we've definitely messed up. However, it looks like Starch is slightly recovering right there. We'll have to watch the graph, but the overall number appears to be getting weaker, all things considered. Take those off real fast. Is that on a rise? That is on a slight rise, so we should have hit the proper equilibrium right there. Now what we want to think about is, do we want to create a new growing location to focus only on Starch for a little bit and still have the problem that we had previously, or B, do we just kind of want to ride for a minute and risk running out of Starch later and being behind the curve? Take it very slow with these placements because like missing little millimeters in here can make it so that I don't like how it drops it off your cursor if you can't place. That's a minor UI thing that I would personally like to see changed, where if you click and you can't place something, it keeps it on your cursor, but it says, yo man, you can't do that. Yo dog, I heard you wanted to place something over here, but that kind of sucks and I don't want to do it. And we should be able to fit a few more in here. And that's ostensibly like 20 people now that have personal betting. That should help out a little bit. Anything that kills 2 birds with 1 stone in this game, I'm usually pretty... Oh, it's only 7. I can't get 8 in there. I probably could if I was better at placing stuff, but I'm not. So we just kind of live with what we're given. We kind of live with what we're given, and if we don't like it, well... Such is life. Life sucks and then you die, as my charming mother used to say. Alright, so we need a starch growth thing, I think. This over here is pumping out food at a really, really ridiculous rate. So that should be alright. We got doctors like around the clock working on random workbenches and things like that. I think our food issues may finally be solved, which means it's time to focus on some of the happiness issues. I might be able to build something useful over here. Maybe. A little biodome that just sort of eats up space would not be unappreciated. What was I going to do over here? I think I was going to make a storage area or something like that, and maybe a bigger biodome. Might work out. These are looking pretty good on food, though. Might help out with the starch, however. Maybe go... Maybe medium-sized stockpile. I think maybe the gargantuan one might not be the proper intelligent choice for this side. But once that's done, we can then go through... We can maybe think about making just like 1 dome over here that only produces starch, and that might take some of the edge off. Might be a dumb idea. Okay, so we lost one of our farmers on that side. Kind of sucks, but one of those things that you can't really see coming. I mean, we've got a pretty good amount of random things shooting up into the void of space, trying to keep things from falling on our heads. Buy another holler bot while I'm in here, too. What? There we go. Holler bot all taken care of. They should all now be sleeping in here and helping out with their own little sadness issues throughout the night. And what we should see, I hope, yeah, is a general growth in people's overall happiness. I think that rearranging things, for a couple episodes it looked tentative, but rearranging things now I think has helped out long term. I kind of need these food pads in here, so I can't get rid of them just yet. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to. I would love to demolish this little bastard right here and recreate it as something else. But they've made that kind of dreadfully difficult. Well, I've made that. Okay, let's not blame our tools here. Let's be a semi-decent carpenter and let's blame ourselves, as indeed we probably should. Notice how I use we here because I want you all to be involved in my fail. I don't think a little pad back here that focuses on starches would be horrifically inefficient. I'd like my starch production to be a little bit closer, but I don't think it could be helped for right now. I don't know. It'll probably be okay. God, so many text messages right now. You might notice that I'm getting quiet because my phone is just like volcanically exploding right now. And I'm starting to wonder if it's because there's an emergency or not. There's no emergency. I just kind of peruse, and it seems like just everybody has 1,000 interesting things to tell me right now. I said as deposed. I suppose nothing's been deposed just yet. Can I do a little cabin over here? I saw it. I saw the little cabin. There we go. We'll do a little cabin right there, and that'll help out. That'll give us another like 5 or 6 beds, which will be better than nothing. Food's on the rise. Let's go ahead and pay attention to our graph still, though. Actually, food looks like it's overall trending downwards. Overall trending downwards. Starches, on the other hand, are definitely... It's been a slow decline, but I think we can get in front of it. So we'll wait for that one to go. I'll probably make this one all starch. And that'll produce food as a byproduct, which will help out a little bit over on this side, so that they're not quite having to haul as far. They're still going to have to haul, but it is what it is, you know. You got what I'm saying now? And then we've got a cash trader up here with a big-ass commission. I don't think I'm going to hang out with him at all. I don't like the cut of his jib, and so he can be on his way. We're now recovering, and in fact, we have surpassed where we were previously. We're now at 261, and so now I'm just waiting for something to fall apart. That's the biggest part of this, is just waiting for something to fall apart, because you know it's gonna. You know it's gonna at some point. We got more food stocked up down here than we know what to do with. That means that on this side, I could probably get away with a couple of little things, too. This stockpile mostly seems to be relegated to extra medical supplies, and that's actually cool, because that's right next to both of our medical bays, and so I think that'll work out. It makes me happy. Lost another driller bot there. Worst case scenario, we actually have to send some humans down into the mines. I'd prefer not to do it, because if there's a cave-in or whatever, I'd rather have a robot on my conscience than a human, but sometimes you don't get that choice. Trade ships down. What's his commission? 40%. He's only got constructor bots, so I'll probably take just cash off of his hands. Actually, probably go in on some metal because we have such a huge surplus of it right now. It's me 165. It's a semiconductor cost me. Does that get me closer to the mark? Closer to the mark. Cool. I'll take a semiconductor. I don't like need it, but I'll take it. All right. So we're growing food. See, there's 2 food growing locations here. Where are they taking their stocks to? Probably just directly to the meals. That would be my guess, is that they're taking it directly to the meal places. Alright. What'd be really cool, what I'd like to see, is if maybe you could take this, and it would open up, instead of doing this right here, it would do like a picture-in-picture. And so you would get a little window that just monitors this room, like right here, semi-opaque, so you can watch and see who's going in and out while you're still multitasking and working on other things. Just little ease of life things that I figure you might be able to do, because I don't see myself... Oh, there we go. It's all up and ready to go. So let's just call this... Oh, I don't know. Let's just call these all pea pads. I mean, that'll be fine right there. Not of the doggy variety. That'll just be pea pads down here. Probably help out a little bit with starch. I don't want it to be going like around the clock, but we definitely need to take a bite out of this starch consumption, because we're low on plastics, we're low on starch, and so as long as we get ahead of it right now, we should be good. But if we don't jump on this hunger, it's definitely going to turn into something a little bit more terrifying. The pea pad has been up. Note that if anybody pees on the pea pad, I will be really, really upset. I don't think that the addition of, you know, any sort of ammonia byproduct is going to help these things grow. It's probably going to make it a lot worse, in fact. I'm going to hold off on dropping beds in right there just yet. We're taking immigrants almost faster than we can handle them. What is our spread of individuals right now? Actually, that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good spread right there. I'll take that. Let's take medics off the list, and we'll increase the chance of guards, maybe. But aside from that, you got a 60%. Get up and out of here. I wish that you could actually set up a little thing that would say, like, auto-deny anybody that's below a certain commission. Just because a 60% commission is ridiculous. I'm cheating myself if I do that sort of shenaniganry. This here should be productive shortly. And whereas it may not bail us out completely as far as our starch concerns are concerned, I guess, it may help out a little bit. I can bulldoze some of these trees if I need to as well and put in starch producers. So that's the other half of it too. The trees aren't really doing anything. I don't really very often see anybody hanging out next to them. So we'll put in a couple right there. And now from here on in, we'll probably just pay attention to our graphs. Got a fight going down right there. I think that's an intruder. Let's go ahead and help her by allowing her to evacuate this Earth. Ooh, that meteorite almost took care of our entire security force. That would have been bad. We lost Taylor Lamb to combat wounds. Unfortunate, but we only had one guard in that sector, so it is what it is. Got some more food being produced right there. We'll have some more food being produced over here. I think I got rid of all my medicinal pads over here. We might want to go in on another production center. But something that focuses a little bit more heavily on starch. This location is full, so we're not even draining this right now. It might be worth it to maybe put in a couple of beds over here. We're only trying to hang out until we get to 300. If we get to 300, that would be like the victory point for me where I would break off the series and just be like, yay! We won 55%. You insult me with your terrible deals. Be on your way, sir. Another rice pad built on this side. So that'll help out a little bit. And once again, that's more food production, so every little bit helps. I think the big problem that you run into is that each time one of these things pops out some food, it's easy to end up with way more starch than you want because each one of these pops out of starch each time it pops out of food, I think. I'd have to watch them to be completely sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It pops out of starch and a food each time it goes, so it's a bit, but I think we may have gotten in front of this one in time. I think. But you know the problem with me thinking and all that. Trading ship has come down. I don't suppose this one wants to trade at a decent margin. It doesn't? Well, I'll send him on his way. We might be able to hit 300 in this episode. I think all the bots that I bought in like one of my transactions all just died instantaneously. How are we doing on... Yeah, we're doing okay on coins. Still bringing in a lot of immigrants. If I was trying to play long-term and not just finish the game, I'd probably cut off immigration right now until I had a better handle on the way things are going. It looks like Starch for the first time is positive. For the first time. For the very first time. I don't know, guys. I'm not feeling jovial today. This has been a weird day for me. Very weird day for me. Mostly I just feel like I want to collapse and take a nap. It's one of those days where you're like, man, I'm just amazed I'm even on my feet right now. That's what I'm mostly impressed by. We have production working overtime on this side, which is great. That's what I like to see. As far as production goes down here, what's being used and what isn't being used? Almost everything. We could actually probably use a plastic fab down here somewhere, but that would probably cause our plastics... I think we would need more starches if we're going to do it. And so I would say that... Let's say that we go in and we make a little biodome here. I would love for it to connect to both of those. That would be fabtabulous. Then the next thing that we would do is we would create a materials fab. Actually, maybe just popping right off of here. I mean, plastics are on the other side, though. Like, the thing that's producing my starches is on that side. Then again, this one down here is going to produce starches, too. And so we'll go in like so. I'll probably just do a little one. That seems okay to me, just to do a smaller one. This will also reroute some of the workers down into this area so that we don't have quite so much traffic jam up and in here, because you can definitely see some of these thoroughfares are busier than others. 20 coins for services, good. I love getting paid, so So we got another 50 or 60 coins coming in from right there. We're at 286. 286. We are so close. I don't know if in 5 minutes we're going to be able to finish the playthrough and get to 300 individuals, but if we make it, there will definitely be some celebration in ours. See, I told you guys it would work out. I know. See, you guys haven't seen all this yet, but I know in the last couple episodes there was probably no small quantity of people telling me that everything was falling apart and that I was doing it all wrong. But you just hang in there. You just hang in there with me. I think we can get it done most of the time. Actually, I might just move a bunch of product on this one because we got too much metal anyways. Yeah, that's fine. Take the extra. Get a good deal. I don't mind. Here we've got another set. So we're at 288 right now, an engineer and another worker. I think what we've created right now, I'm confident that this would hold for a while, and this would get me in front of the other problems that we have to... Please don't build yourself inside of there. I would love it if you would not. This will be our plastic fab to help out with that. And then this right here will produce nothing but starches. So we can get back on the horse as far as our starch is concerned. We're about even right now, where it's holding steady at 15. I want to be slightly positive, but not super positive. We also need more food, so this will help out with that. Also, the next thing that I would drop down in here... I mean, I guess I could just do another big biodome over on this side. How come I can't build anything else? Oh, you've reached the limit on structures. You can't go any further. So yeah, that's the game right there. I mean, if you can't build any more structures, I guess that's it? I think that's as far as we can go, and from there it's just a game of efficiency. So I guess that ended right on time. I'm going to let it run up to 300 people maybe. Go a little bit long on this episode just so you guys can have closure. But aside from that, I mean, not a bad day, all things considered. Let's clean out our cash bin here. And then after cleaning out the cash bin, we'll probably just trade in metals. And I'll get all the money too. Why not? Let's take all of their cash. Let's make this super efficient. There you go. So that's going to be a big trade. That'll probably set us negative for a little while. I expect to see people falling over and dying very, very shortly. I think the dormitories are probably overbooked right now. I also never completed building beds in here. But apparently I screwed it up when I was trying to do this. There we go. All better. 5 more. We got a sandstorm coming soon. And that's from our little satellite, so it's going to be a while before that one actually comes to fruition. We got that working down there. Looks good. I'll tell you what, though. I'd like to keep this sort of meandering. And since we've maxed out our structures now, not totally sure where else to go, but it appears to me we have a lot of metal stored down here. Let's go in on these starch producers, just like I said I was going to. $291, come on, we can make it. We can make it. How's our happiness looking? Happiness is good. It's holding in there. Prestige is sort of middle range. I feel like I could probably do better there, but happiness is looking pretty good as far as I'm concerned. We can't build any more beds. So the other thing I could recommend doing now is wiping out smaller structures to make bigger structures in alternate locations. Like essentially just making some of the structures bigger and more efficient. So like getting rid of that one right there. And then say taking something like this over here and making a bigger cabin that's just relocated slightly. It's lower down on the map, but I'm sure it'll work. Go like one right there. And that'll look pretty good to me. I think we've just about hit the nail on the head. Let's have a look at the graphs real fast. Food is definitely dropping off, but we're going to be able to help out with that a little bit with this biodome we got built over here. This thing right here should make that whole problem go away in entirety. Medical supplies and, you know, medicinal plants Both looking absolutely fantastic. We got a couple of visitors coming in who are in a really bad mood. They're off to get an alcoholic drink because that's how you fix that problem. Another colony ship. Is this going to be the one? Oh, we only got 2. They're going to make us sit in suspense for a little while. I'm pretty happy about winning, though. I mean, I like this game a lot. For all the little, like, random UI adjustments that I think could be made, this is a remarkably... Oh, there's a starvation. Was that somebody that wasn't one of ours, though? Where was the starvation at? There we go. Consolidation. We've completed the first map. And so there's as close to a victory as you can get. Maxed out 300 citizens for the final achievement. And then on top of that, we can't build any more buildings. There is no more expansion for us. There's no more relocation. That's that. I will see you all later. Thank you for joining me for Planetbase. I'll probably check back in on it once the game's had a few more updates and it gets completed a little bit further. It's in early access, so obviously I'm going to be keeping my eye on it. Hi to everybody. It was a really, really fun playthrough. I'm pleased that you could stop by and spend some time with me.